little rusty finishing things off, but surely, thank you all for tuning in to the FCDB Cup Closed Qualifier, in which we have two of these teams facing off each other. It's gonna be Pride and it's gonna be Passions. The two teams from different regions as well, but the same Europe. So anyhow, I have to admit, Passions, their team, and by the looks of it, they have players that got skill, but they got Broland, they got Rusty, they've got some other fellas whose names I don't know. They've got real names, Passions players, but I'm not quite sure who on earth is Ulf and Plop at this moment, but I'll be sure to check in. Like, for me, it's quite dissatisfying, you know, as a caster, you want to try to say the real names of the players, but then they get out of their way and, like, rename themselves in the most obscure ways. So anyhow, one way or the other, this matchup is going to be happening, and Pride going to be taking things relatively slow, but it's going to be a good old-fashioned contact B, I believe. Manice, he's got a one smoke, and he does have a couple of those flashes, and looks like they're going to be landing towards B, and the push will commence here from Pride as they are pushing forward, but Pride haven't got a single frag, but same goes to Passions. There we go, Brolan with a frag, as well as the remaining CTs doing much of the shooting, and even though Manice was coming up with a flank, as well as Morels, apparently that is not good enough. Passions, though, the CT side team thus prevail, and I do believe a team like Pride is actually even better on a map like Mirage than Cash, so it's going to be interesting to see if Passions can actually best their Swedish comrades, Team 5, because Team 5, they look lost. Honestly, they didn't look like a good team there on Cash. They looked very not good, but Reed's headshots those are looking quite good. Crispy luck from him, as you could say. But anyhow, the terrorist side team, you know, they've got a bit of a force by here. They have those deagles and they try to get some openings, and well, Reese was able to get one. He was able to get the lonesome opening, but at the same time, you know, the terrorist side team are making through towards connector by the looks of it. Oh, there we go, Manice with another frag. And in fact, things are not looking good here for Passions. It's now 3 versus 2, but as they say so, Ulf will be getting the frag onto Reed, so that's a bit interesting. That in the end, Tom decides to go towards B, having the bomb in hand. Still. Tom. From the Pride. The Polish Pride, if you will try to clutch this one out if possible. And he's got the Deeg in hand, the bomb on his shoulders, as well as the Kevlar. But the thing is, though, if he does plant the bomb, no, I don't think Tomic's gonna make it, though. No, I don't think Tomic's gonna make it. The thing is, though, you know, this being a 1 versus 3, and if he's gonna plant the bomb, though, Plop is just gonna be in a very good spot. He's gonna be in a good spot indeed to get that frag, and it's gonna be Passions 2-0 lead for them. And in fact, Ulf is actually Hampus, but Plop, apparently Plop is some sort of stand-in here for the Swedish side, and Plop is none other than a Spaniard. If Tomic would have actually gotten the bomb plant there, I think the Pride side would have actually been getting a better buy now. But even then, you know, having those couple AK-47s come out isn't that bad for the terrorist side team. Now it looks like that Passions are gonna be crumbling here towards middle. To be exact, one of their players, Hampus, he's actually gonna be dropping dead there towards middle. So now, it's a 5 versus 4 in which Pride, some of their players, have been softened up quite a bit. You take a look at Manice, you take a look at Morels, Tom. They are relatively low on HP. But at the same time, they have the one-man advantage here, Pride. Looks like the Polish side will might in fact try to go towards B by the looks of it. And the thing is though, there are two defenders from the CT side on this very same B bomb side. So Rusty, even though he has deployed the smoke, he should be spotting out at least a couple players here. But the thing is though, the push from short is also coming through, and Brawlin is good for the one frag. But in fact, Rusty though picking up two, and Pride, by the looks of it, gonna crumble here. Unless the players from Maps got something to say about it. Rusty, he's low in HP, and I mean, he's very low. 1 point of health for him, but still is able to get the frag. And now Minis, with the Galil in hand, can he actually try and do this? But the timing is not in his favor. 3-0 is the scoreline favoring this Passions team. And Pride, they try to go for a cheeky force bite there, in which, well, the force bite doesn't work out here for the Pulse, and now it's going to be a good old-fashioned eco, I presume. And an eco it will be, as some of the players will be investing, in fact, in even some armor. That'd be like a player like Minis. He had a bit more money, but money aside, you know, Pride, they should be very much back into the game when it comes down to that 5th round. For the time being, though, if it's a possibility, and trust me, it is, you know, they can try to get some frags here. We'll definitely try to do that. Brawlin will be burning alive one of the terror side players. And by the looks of it, it's not going to be as easy as one might thought. Or, in fact, it's going to be spawning out Tom as well. So Luz is now the remaining Polish player. And in fact, it looks like Plop will be getting the better of Luz. So in fact, they don't end up losing a single guy here. Passion, that's actually pretty good. Pretty good indeed for the Swedish team. Now Pride, as I was mentioning previously, will now be making the full-on investment here. They have those AK-47s across the board. A bit of a lack in, you could say, for the CT side. It would be nice to even have 5 M4s, but apparently Plop will be sticking with to his lonesome SMG. Ministo will be tagged down quite a bit, and in fact, Tom is gonna be the end maker for Minis. Ay, that's not so good there for the Polish team. They lose one of their own, and look at Rusty. He's actually already deployed the Carrigan smoke, you know, allows to go for a bit of a push here towards the B apps. And he's got map control. He's got very good map control plus information. That's something you pretty much get every single time once you've got map control, is you get information. Rusty sees that there's okay. Looks like there's no CTs here, so I can allow one of the players from the B bomb site either take a look at the middle or towards the A part of the map, because it looks like the push will be happening here on A. And Morels, he will be good for the one frag, but apparently that's the UMP of Plop timing in with a couple of frags there. So now Passions, by the looks of it, are very much in the lead here. 5-0 scoreline here. And Tom, not only was he not able to get the frag, he was in fact able to murder his own teammates. So now he's at a -1 score at this point, which is a bit dissatisfying, I guess you could say that. But Passions, you know, they're in the lead. We saw Pride actually taking an early advantage in when it came down to playing cash, and now it looks like Passions are that team to do so on a map like Mirage. So the terrorist side team, Pride, they're not doing so good here, I guess you could say that. They have this sort of investment here. They have these pistols coming in, which is relatively good, especially by the things. Yeah, they're gonna go for a good old-fashioned smoke execute onto the A bomb stable, deploying those smokes flashes as well. And if possible, they are and should be in a position to plant the bomb. In fact, Lopto will be getting the one frag, but at the same time, the pistols are timing in. But there's, well, guess what? There's Ampus getting some easy frags here. Ghani should be up. There we go, the dunk nade onto Reeds, and now all up to Tom. He's in a pretty awkward spot at this point. Not only will the Polish side not be able to plant the bomb, in fact, it's Passions that, well, will be getting a 6th on the board, and, you know, it was expected. It was expected for Passions to maybe get the 6th, but in a dominant way, they just got, like, here. I've got to admit, it looks like Passions are stepping up to the plate. They seem to be a much better team than what we saw previously from the other Swedish team, Team 5. Team 5 were struggling, but it came down playing on their CE side. Looks like Pride with their superior teamwork was just able to pounce on either of the sides every single time. Successfully so. Get the frags and get the round wins as well. This time around though, looks like Pride has finally met their match. And as they have met this match in the form of Swedish Team Passions, Pride has now actually lost one of their own players. Very early on here, Pride is now in a 5 versus 4, in which the T's, well, they gotta think of something. They've been holding these angles, passive angles nonetheless. And in fact, Passions still peak to those angles, and in fact, they win the aim duels. So I don't know what to say at this point for Pride. The Polish team seems to be struggling. They are struggling quite a bit here. 60-0 in favor of Passions. Nothing much has changed, but the thing is though, the Swedish team can actually even extend the scoreline to a 7-0 lead here on Mirage. And in fact, I gotta give credit for them. Take a look at the utility. It's still very much in the hands of Passions. They are very careful about using their utility. Pride though, speaking about utility, they've got some utility of their own, and it's about time that they actually try to hit somewhere, and it looks like they're gonna try to hit B. And the thing is though, there's actually only Lonesome Wolf here who will be picking up both of those frags, and that is already good enough. As anyhow, the refrags do come in, and they're gonna be favoring Passions one way or the other, and I have to admit, Morels in 1 versus 3, where the bomb has to be recovered, it's not gonna be easy. Morels 11 points of health, and he doesn't even have enough time to plant, so he's just gonna back away, try to save the AK. And the fact is though, him saving the AK, oh no, that's bad. Now that is bad. It's a good thing that if he's able to save the AK, and his team has reached maximum lose money bonus, so he's still gonna be able to make the purchase on the next round. But as he dies, after the timer has run out, we're seeing that our buddy Morels has only got 450 bucks. That's not a lot. That's not a lot to play with here. Plop though will be starting things very good here for the Passion side, as looks like the T's are struggling here yet again as they try to push forward onto this A bombs that they're dropping like flies. Menis with the AK-47 is gonna try to do something about it. His teammate Morels gets taken out of the equation. Menis though won't be good for the 3rd frag, so it's up to Passions to make the scoreline 8-0. And I think after a force buy like that, if you're Pride, you're probably gonna be doing a bit of a partial buy. You still have the maximum lose money bonus of $3,400. So at this point, I mean, trying to go for a bit of a partial buy is probably the best choice. You know, your team is still gonna be having money. Money's not that big of an issue. In the next round, it's just an hello. Looks like Rusty is actually soft for his cheeky plan. Now Pride, yeah, looks like Pride is now again crumbling here. On a round like this, when they're on a bit of an eco, it's a partial buy. You can't expect much from the T side, but still, it would be nice for them to inflict some serious damage. Not only do they tag up Ulf, but it would be nice for them to actually get maybe a couple kills or something to actually stop the momentum of Passions. You know, they've been building up money as well. And take a look at the money bank, and things are looking very hot. For instance, for Plop, 15 grand for him, and him dying there still means that they're gonna be having money for days. Oh, come on. Enough is enough, Pride. You gotta take some sort of rounds here. Come on. You got those 5 AKs across the board, so it would be nice for them to actually, you know, start winning some. Because Passions, you know, a 9-0 lead here on the CD side is very good for the Swedes. I mean, they're gonna be happy having an advantage like this already in the first half being established. It's just, it would be nice to see Pride to show something here. This is nice, slowly making their way onto the A bombs, and that's successful. Tom and Menis picking up frags apiece, and now it looks like Pride, for the first time ever, will be acquiring around here in the first round, in the first half. That is. Yeah, go Luz with the frag. Ulf. Oh, it's gonna back away, I think. Yeah, Hampus is gonna try to back away, but even then, I mean, money isn't that big of an issue here for Passions. If he's able to save the M4 though. Oh, Luz. Yeah, looks like Luz heard him. Looks like Luz heard Ulf there. So I don't think Ulf is gonna be able to save the M4, but in the end, money isn't that big of an issue here for Passions. It's just that they don't really want to be giving away too much here for the T side, but heck, they win the round here, Pride. Very nicely done here from the... Okay. Minis, I'm not quite sure what Minis was thinking there. This isn't Face It, Minis. You do damage to your teammates. That's something you gotta keep in mind. I mean, aye. Anyhow, Passions. Still, as I was mentioning, very much back to the game. You know, they have money for days, but Brolan, he's in a very cheeky spot. In fact, those smokes have been deployed, but the thing is, though, Ulf and Brolan will be cleaning up house here in middle. And even though Pride has still got 2 more players standing, that'd be Reeds and Minis, I simply don't think the players can accomplish much. Plop is in a good spot to get a frag, and a frag he will get. It's just that Minis is dead at this point. He's very much dead. That was a very good execute, I guess you could say that. Pride, what they did there was actually very interesting. It would have been nice to smoke off middle, but the thing is though, they threw a smoke here, I believe a smoke here, and I think a smoke towards here. But there was a gap that allowed the player in window to actually peek through the smoke, because what Pride was doing was pretty much doing a B split by the looks of it. Now, at least 3 of those players, if they're actually able to make the play onto the B bomb site, then the rest can rotate from the apps. Going mid would be dangerous with the maps, yeah, that's a possibility. But as those 3 players get taken down, that tactic is already out of the equation. So Pride is now gonna make things simple, but it looks like just Russian B. And in fact, as simple as it might be, it's actually working out here for the Pride side. Oh, we'll be getting another frag here, so from 5 versus 3. Make that a 3 versus 3, gonna be favoring Morels. Don't peek there, buddy. Just doesn't make much sense. Just try to back away with your life. Now the CTs can try and clutch flash coming through, but there's no peek. Plop is fully blinded there in short, but the thing is though, he's coming in and he's got the fragging prowess to do so. Last pick Ulf will try to take down Tom, and there's Tomic out of the equation now. Morels, 4 points of health for him, even though the Molotov has been deployed. Looks like the defuse will come in there from Ulf. Nicely done there from the Passion side. Pride struggling a bit. For me, it was so weird to see one of the players, I think it was Morels. Why in the world would Morels, while he's playing for Maps, try to peek the players? It barely made any sense. A bit of a throwaway round there from Pride, if you ask me. Definitely a round they should have had in the bag. Now it's just gonna be an 11-1 scoreline, and Pride looks like they're going back to what worked for them previously. And heck, they did get the bomb down, so it isn't that bad. But now they're just gonna get decimated, and they do get annihilated as well. So 12-1 is the scoreline. Passions are very much in the lead, and they are putting the metal to the pedal, and it just goes to show that Passions, they are a strong team here in the aim department, that is. On the CD side, it's not that they're doing anything fancy. I mean, they're just getting the frags here. And on the CD side, that's what really matters. Getting those frags. And Passions is doing a very good job at it. And how 12-1 Pride will still trying to do something about it. They're not out of the game just yet. It's just that the first half is terribly not going in their favor. Okay, though, things are working out here for Pride. You know, they've been acquiring mid control for the past couple of rounds, and in fact, not only did they get mid, there's a player in window, that being Minis, and he's gonna be popping the head there of Plop. Easy frag for him. I'm not quite sure why, pretty much for the first time ever, Passions decided to give away mid so easily. They didn't even fight for mid. They just gave away mid there for Pride, which was very awkward to say the least. And even though this is gonna be the last round of the first half, Passions barely had any sort of money issues in the entirety of the first half. So I guess you could say props to them. And the best case scenario now for the Polish team is a 12-3. Can they make it 12-3? Well, you know, it's always a possibility, but I don't think it's going to be easy though. Has been spotted out, and there's still a gap in the smoke. That's going to be a frag there for Pride. Things are looking up for the Polish side. Things are now looking very good here for Pride. Now the thing is though, as they get the man advantage here, Passions, they still have the open play in the forms of Benny. So it would be nice to see for him to try to get some sort of frag here. Reeds will be taking down Ulf. So in fact, things are kind of looking up here for Pride, but as they say so, we're back on a 3 versus 3, in which Reeds spotting out Brolin, and he will be taking out Brolin to the grave. So Tom gotta step up here, and step up he will as he takes down Benny. All up to Rusty in the 1 versus 3, and I think, and I do believe that Pride is gonna be having a good, well, 12-3 scoreline here. As Prusty is gonna try to clutch, it's just that I think it's gonna be quite difficult for him. It's possible, you know, but it's just gonna be a bit too difficult. Prusty tapping the bomb once, deploying the smoke as well. He should realize the fact that there should be a player in the ramp, and the thing is, there is in the form of Luz. So anyhow, it's gonna be 12-3, favoring Passions, as it has been throughout the majority of this first half. But at least, I guess the good thing is that at least Pride is actually able to salvage the last 3 rounds. It isn't much. It isn't much. That's something that I think Team 5 had to work off when they were playing Cash, and that ended quickly in favor, 16-6 in favor of Pride. But now, Pride are on the receiving end. Pride are on the receiving end, and they're the ones feeling the pressure here, I'd say. 12-3, it's definitely not a good scoreline here, but looks like Passion is going to be using a very similar setup here that Pride used, and in fact, Pride, even though they get the initial frag, the thing is though, Passions with the Glocks are pushing forward, and the bomb plant should commence as well. And with the bomb being planted, this isn't that bad of a situation to be in here for Passions. The rotate coming in though, Rusty with the Glock had land some shots, and the landing shot he will. In fact, Ulf, or to be exact, Hampus will be getting the frags as well. So Passions, a very nice round from them. Very simple at least. I mean, really, comes down to just landing the headshots, and oh, they did land the headshots there. Especially as they, you know, had those armors, they had one utility player. I think in most scenarios, it would be much better to deploy, for instance, the smoke towards short, because I think the player in short can be the player that does the most damage in most scenarios, or can be the biggest nuisance for the T's that are coming up from B apps. So in fact, that still able to make it through shows that Passions are a pretty darn good team. But I have to admit, we're seeing not the same Pride. This isn't the same Pride that 16-6'd Team 5 earlier. They're struggling here, Pride. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. If you take a look at the fragging department, all the players are doing relatively good. No one's standing out, so maybe that could be the case. So yeah. They kind of seem to be going up and down. Let's see though. Luz, he's got the angle of the player, but he's finally got the one dig there on the plop, spotting out a couple more players there. And as as Minis try to go for the flank there, tries to actually back up his teammates. There's actually already a lurking Benny, so it's the scoreline. It's looking 13-3, and this looks like it's going to be 14-3 if you take a look at how things are going right now. I mean, Pride, they can try to go for this one. I mean, they can try to go for this one, but the thing is, though, I mean, it would probably just make sense to try to save up what they got here at this point, Pride. If they save up these pistols, the armors as well, they've got, you could say, another force bite chance on the 18th round. So definitely try to go for the save here, Pride. I don't blame them. And if they do go for the save here, it's going to be 14-3. Yes, but at least Pride has still got something to work with here. They have recovered those UMPs, but isn't that bad? But yeah. Passion's in a position to, I'd say, close this one out. I'd say they're definitely in a position to close out this game. This being a 5 versus 5 and all. But it's 5 versus 5, AK-47s against those 4-spot pistols, those UMPs as well. You gotta be favoring the AK-47s, especially as they take these like long-range engagements. These though will be ripping off the head of Brolin, so it isn't that bad here for Pride. It's just that we're taking as a whole other story here. Manice 1 versus 2. It's possible now. It's a clutch scenario, and if he's good with the frags, it's always a possibility. Ulf and Rusty lining things up, but that's a double peak as well. At the same time, you gotta give it to Passions. A double peak, in most cases, will be winning these sort of engagements. So Pride, it's gonna be 15-3, and Pride, this is pretty much a do-or-die situation for the Polish side. They either end up winning 12 rounds in a row, which I know it sounds hard, but it's a possibility, or they lose right here, right now. They can try to make this one a bit more competitive. They might try to end up winning this round, but already Benny getting the initial frag here. Brolin as well picked up a frag, and Morales, even though he's trying to fight, it's not gonna be enough, but Tom through the smoke nonetheless. Alright then, Tom, maybe it shouldn't be discounted the Polish side as of yet. Luz will be dropping out. Solved. Tom 2-3. Is that gonna be enough for Tom? I gotta say, I think that's not gonna be good enough. Tom, you gotta show us some fragging prowess. 1 versus 3. I think he's not gonna get fragged quick enough. That's gonna be the end of him, and anyhow, it is the end of him. As well as Pride, Pride. I was expecting maybe to see a back-to-back win here for Pride, but apparently that is not the case. Pride, they do win against Team 5 in a dominant scoreline, but at the same time, they lose in a very convincing fashion against another Swedish team. So yeah, 16-3 in favor of Pride. Very nicely done there from Passions. They're one of their better maps, Mirage, and well, we're still going to have to wait and see. This is still the very early stages here of the Closed Qualifier here for the FCDB Cup. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. That was about it for today. We are going to be having more best of ones coming up, I do believe, tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, as we have a relatively good amount of teams here. Speaking about the tier 3 or 2 level of Counter-Strike, you have your Tricked Seeds, some pretty good teams. So of course, if you do want to take a look at the Closed Qualifier next time around, it's going to be tomorrow. And thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you all tomorrow.